This is part 4 of the series Biggest Unsolved Mysteries. There are some historical mysteries that may never be solved. Sometimes, the questions come to us so simple, like what was Jesus really like, or was there a City of Atlantis? Let's go through the next 5 biggest unsolved mysteries. 5. Is there a City of Atlantis? Writing in the 4th century BC, the Greek philosopher Plato told a story of a land named Atlantis that existed in the Atlantic Ocean and supposedly conquered much of Europe and Africa in prehistoric times. In the story, the prehistoric Athenians strike back against Atlantis in a conflict. Atlantis was a mid-Atlantic continent that suddenly sunk into the ocean. While no serious scholar believes that this story is literally true, some have speculated that the legend could have been inspired, in part, by real events that happened in Greek history. One possibility is that the Minoan civilization, as it's now called, which flourished on the island of Crete until about 1400 BC, could have inspired the story of Atlantis. Although Crete is in the Mediterranean, and not the Atlantic, Minoan settlements suffered considerable damage during the eruption of Thera, a volcano in Greece. But other theory states that Atlantis is Antarctica. Around 12,000 years ago the Earth's crust shifted, displacing the continent that became Antarctica from a location much further north than it is today. This more temperate continent was home to an advanced civilization, but the sudden shift to its current frigid location doomed the civilization's inhabitants, the Atlanteans, and their magnificent city was buried under layers of ice. Until now no evidence related to Atlantis is found by any archaeologist, so the truth about the beautiful city is still a mystery. 4. Were Hanging Gardens of Babylon real? Ancient writers describe a fantastic series of gardens constructed at the ancient city of Babylonian, modern-day Iraq. It's not clear when these gardens were built, but some ancient writers were so impressed by the gardens that they called them a wonder of the world. Around 250 BC, philosopher of Byzantium wrote that the Hanging Gardens had plants cultivated at a height above ground level, and the roots of the trees are embedded in an upper terrace rather than in the earth. So far, archaeologists who have excavated Babylon have been unable to find the remains of a garden that meets this description. This has left archaeologists with a question: did the Hanging Gardens really exist? In 2013, Stephanie Daly, a researcher at the University of Oxford, proposed in a book that the gardens were actually located at the Assyrian city of Nineveh. Over the past 2 decades, both Babylon and Nineveh have suffered damage from wars and looting, and it seems unlikely that this mystery will ever be fully solved. 3. Where is Cleopatra's tomb? Ancient writers claim that Cleopatra VII and her lover, Mark Antony, were buried together in a tomb after their deaths in 30 BC. The writer Plutarch, AD 45 to 120, wrote that the tomb was located near a temple of Isis, an Egyptian goddess, and was a lofty and beautiful monument containing treasures made of gold, silver, emeralds, pearls, ebony, and ivory. The location of the tomb remains a mystery. In 2010, Zahi Hawass, Egypt's former antiquities minister, conducted excavations at a site near Alexandria now called Taposiris Magna, which contains a number of tombs dating to the era when Cleopatra VII ruled Egypt. While many interesting archaeological discoveries were made, Cleopatra VII's tomb was not among them, Hawass reported in a series of news releases. Archaeologists have noted that even if Cleopatra's tomb does survive to this day, it may be heavily plundered and unidentifiable. Any the rest in peace place of the beautiful empress is still a question to the modern world. 2. What was Jesus really like? The earliest surviving Gospels date to the 2nd century, almost 100 years after the life of Jesus, although recently, it was announced that a possible 1st century fragment had been found. The lack of surviving 1st century texts about Jesus leave biblical scholars with a number of questions. When were the Gospels written? How many of the stories actually took place? What was Jesus like in real life? Archaeological investigations of Nazareth, Jesus' hometown, reveal more about the environment where he grew up. More recently, scientists discovered a 1st century house that, centuries after Jesus' time, was venerated as being the house that Jesus grew up in, but whether it was actually Jesus' house is unknown. However, a forensic expert believed they have recreated the real face of Jesus Christ using state-of-the-art science, but it is a little different to his images we are familiar with. Although new research will provide more insight, scholars think it's unlikely they will ever fully know what Jesus was really like. And number 1. Is there a money pit on Oak Island? For more than 2 centuries, stories have circulated that Oak Island, located off Nova Scotia, Canada, held a money pit of buried treasure supposedly left by the pirate captain, William Kidd, 1645 to 1701. In addition to treasure, theories about artifacts present on the island include Marie Antoinette's jewels, Shakespearean manuscripts and religious artifacts. Over that time, numerous expeditions costing millions of dollars have traveled to the island searching for the lost treasure, to no avail. According to early settlers, a story was told of a dying sailor from the crew of Captain Kidd, in which he stated that treasure worth £2 million had been buried on the island. Another theory is that notorious pirate Blackbeard, Edward Teach, buried his treasure there due to him boasting that his treasure was hidden where none but Satan and myself can find it. Despite centuries of searching, no treasure has been found on Oak Island. Nevertheless, that doesn't stop people from trying to find it. In 1965, even a causeway was built to let heavy machine to come onto island for the extended excavation. A History Channel show called The Curse of Oak Island follows a modern-day expedition. The show was just renewed for a 4th season in 2016. Please like and subscribe button below. Or click the bell symbol to be alerted of new video every day from Top 5. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe button below. Or click the bell symbol to be alerted of new video every day from Top 5. Thank you for watching.